guys, how you doing today? Sorry, kind of caught me here a little bit. Yeah, you caught me. What's this? I've got a tubular type band in my hands. No worries. No worries. Actually, I just doing that as kind of a little fun. I haven't switched to tubes, and I probably will never switch to tubes unless something changes drastically. And I thought I would share with you my feelings on tubular type bands versus going with the flat bands that I've always discussed and brought to you. A couple things about tubular bands. Elastic, no question about it. They're an elastic tool, and therefore the responses that you get when you train with flat bands versus tubular bands are going to be the same because they're both elastic tools. So we can cover that right now. But here's the key issues. Most tubular bands are molded. Matter of fact, all tubular bands are molded elastic structures. So what happens is when molded structures develop a little bit of a niche or a click or a cut in them, they tear very quickly. Unfortunately, a lot of times you don't pick up on those cuts, and therefore the band can break very quickly on you. Now, you go to flat bands, especially flat layered bands, they get a cut in them. Chances are you're going to pick it up because you know what? It's not going to tear quickly. It's going to be a very gradual tear. No question, flat bands can break. And periodically we have a defect where a flat band will break and just pop because of an air bubble that forms inside the layers. This rarely happens, however it can. So yes, they both can break quickly, but the likelihood is a flat band is not going to break that quickly. And most of the times you're going to catch that the tear is happening and you can get rid of the band before that. I've had flat bands that were literally tore halfway through and still could train with them without it breaking immediately. Obviously we got rid of those bands quickly. Now, another issue with regards to tubular bands. When you place them on your body, or as you saw when I was training here, the band doesn't stick to the thing, so it slides and rolls. Alright? It's not going to link on and hook onto that pipe, or more importantly onto that wrist or onto that body. What's going to happen is it's going to roll. Therefore, a lot of the drills that we do where we attach it to our hips, where we attach it to our wrists, where we go ahead and attach it to our lower body, what's going to happen is the band is going to roll, and subsequently you're not going to be able to train this and get the same effect. So that's a key element with tubular bands that you want to be aware of. Another key issue is most tubular bands come with handles attached. Now that's a convenience, no question about it, as compared to a flat band where we go ahead and we allow you to clip the handles on and off. However, with handles already attached, what occurs is you have this little point where the band is shoved through, and so you can take this band and pull it through because there's a thicker end to it. However, the more that band has to play and continue to get pressure at that plastic notch, that's a stress point. That stress point is ultimately going to start wearing on your band and ultimately tear your band. Flat bands, you don't have that because the handle is a carabiner clip that allows you to go ahead and clip it on and off. So therefore the pressure is not created at the band here as it is here. So that's a significant point when it comes to, yes, handles are on there, yes, they're convenient, but they also long-term are going to create stress points. The other component of this is the handles get in the way if we're going to even try to use these to do any type of attachment onto our hips. Now we talked about it rolling so it won't work, but even if you tried, the handles are going to get in the way. And yes, you could put the handle into a belt and hook the other handle onto a stable structure, but now you have this plastic piece that's going to be clapping and hitting against something. Alright, and it's also going to be rubbing against your body. So subsequently these handles, in my mind, are not as convenient as they are meant to be. In essence, they become more of an issue when it comes to training and therefore are more of a problem. The last thing that you're going to want to have and keep in mind is durability. Now we talked about how these are molded bands. And molded bands, even without the stress points on them, molded bands are ultimately going to break down quicker because they're a clear sheet of elastic tubing or a clear sheet of elastic material. Therefore, as it continues to stretch, the material is going to stretch out. With a layered band, you have a matrix effect, which then allows the band to become much more firmer, much more stiffer. It also retracts back onto itself much easier. So therefore, you don't get a thinning of the band, you don't get a breaking down of the band as quickly, and therefore durability factor, flat bands are going to be much more long-term durable than a tubular band. So there you go. That's why I don't use tubular bands. And so, yes, they're convenient. Yes, they're sold in a lot of places. Yes, you could go ahead and try them to get started. But please, the one thing I want you to understand is we use flat, layered resistance bands at resistancebandtrain.com. We do that for several reasons that I pointed out. What I would prefer is that you do not go ahead and try to simulate the exercises we do with flat bands by using tubular bands. I think long term that puts not only you at risk during your training, but potentially puts your clients at risk. Keep that in mind. Let's go flat and let's eliminate all these other issues.